paid. This year they were paid after 1 year. So I want to ask this House to support the 3.8 billion which is in the supplementary budget, and let it be prioritized for payment of the teachers. Let me say on the issue of supervisors, the Ministry and the Teacher Service Commission should actually factor in the issue of transportation and allowances for the teachers who will be moving to and fro twice a day for all those number of days. I think that should be taken by the chair and is important. I'm very brief, Speaker. And finally, on the issue of the space and the places where exams are marked, that is where the problem is, because there has been a congestion. I want to congratulate them. They have increased the number of centers. But at the same time, let them increase the payment to every script for the teachers who are marking. We shall be home and dry. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Susan Kiamba, member for Makueni.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would also wish to put my voice to this concern. And my major concern is, while I congratulate the chair for that very elaborate input on preparedness, I found it very difficult to see the significant difference that has actually been put forth to ensure that we don't have cheating as we had in last time. Because the only difference I saw was mainly in increased centers. And then secondly, with a capitation of 26%, anybody who has been in the schools of late, like me, knows the head teachers and administrators are training extensively with the very basic logistics. And I think if we are expecting the exams to be done in the manner we want them to be done, it is important to understand that the learning environment that is taken care by the capitation is very low and very weak, with some desks running all over and environment of the school quite wanting. The third point I would want to put across, when Honorable Bai asked this question, it was about the centers and the issue of collecting exams twice, the morning session and the afternoon session. And the concern was, if I heard them properly, was that in the collecting twice even increase chances of cheating. I do not understand. How is picking the exam twice reducing the chances of cheating of the exams? Because to me, I think that could actually be very manipulative. When we have people picking the exams twice, it actually gives them an opportunity to collude. And mainly so, when we have examiners who have not been paid for years, what will stop them from taking a few bribes so that they can cushion their pockets as opposed to waiting? So I think we need to have some resources into this so that we can have watertight scenario in these exams. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Member for Makueni. Honorable Chair, I hear you saying point of information, but I'll give you the last opportunity because members are raising different issues on this. The Honorable Naomi Wako, member for Marsabit County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me to add my voice to this very important discussion. I also want to congratulate the chair for that very good report that he has tabled, that has made us to understand and also shown us that the ministry is prepared for the exams. Madam Speaker, in the past, our students have been affected in different ways because of a lot of cheating. And if those loopholes can be, they can just take care of that, we will be grateful. The other thing is about the distance that is covered in some areas, like where I come from. And especially now when it is raining, please put into consideration those areas that are quite difficult and a lot of distance between one school to the other, and even the center that where they collect the exams from. Make sure that all students are given equal opportunities, papers collected on time, exam collected on time, and also make sure that special attention is given so that the cheating that has been there can be controlled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Professor Jaldesa, member for Moyale.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to raise a small issue. congratulate the committee chair for reading hard names from northern Kenya. Congratulations, at least it means you have done some bit of work. Looking at the examination, there's a lot of inequality and fairness to the students from hard to reach areas. Mr. Chair, if you can imagine, students who have been transported 80 kilometers away from their homes to do examination in another center away from home, and yet there is no boarding facility for them. Just because of lack of logistics. The ministry cannot afford to take the examination to where they have been schooling, and these are the people who have been in class with less than 50% of teachers' coverage. 3 teachers in class 1 to 8. They are already disadvantaged. Now you are taking them, displacing them from their homes to another place to do the examination. That we need to see how we can improve on that kind of problems next time. The other issue of examination, because the examination, if you consider, do we ever validate the test results at the marked scripts? Is there a way of validating them so that we know that the marks given for a child in alliance will be the same for the same child from Moyale? Because there is a bit of I'm suspecting biasness in the teachers marking the papers. So I think we need to have a watertight validation system so that the students are assessed on equal footing. With those few remarks, I want to thank the Speaker. Thank you.
Well, honorable members, you allow me to give the last opportunity to the Honorable Dr. Pokose. I can see so many interventions. And
thank you, Madam
I'll
Speaker.
Give 2 on my left and 2 on my right. We close this, we go to the next business, honorable members. So now, Dr. Pukose, 1 minute, kindly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Chair of the Committee on Education and members of the Education Committee who have given their input. But, Madam Speaker, as our students prepare to do the exams, and more so my students from Endebess constituency, whom I wish them success in their exams, both in the KFCA, KCB, and KCSE. One of the biggest challenges that I think the Chair did not address is the issue of paying those who mark the exams in time, because that has always been the biggest challenge. And I think the Chair needs to address that, because the morale of those markers is normally very low. The second thing which I wanted the Chair to address is that, when some of us did exams, we never saw issues of cheating in those early 90s. And even when we did our KCB in 80s, there was no cheating. I think we need to look at what went wrong that people now think cheating is the norm. I think that is something that the Education Committee needs to really look at it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Kaluma, 1 minute, please.
I thank you, Chair. Chair, the response coming from the CS is not satisfactory, and I was personally going to request, Chair, that the Cabinet Secretary be required to come to this House as a matter of urgency, if possible, by tomorrow, even exceptionally, to address these issues. Chair, the substantive Speaker, when this matter was raised the issue of administration of exams, and the idea that you have the very center managers who have set mean grades with students being in charge of exams within their centers. That has not been addressed. Chair, in terms of distribution, in my own constituency, Chair, there is no place other than the central place where they have been picking them from at the sub-county headquarters, which is actually the county headquarters. So this falsehood, Chair, or the statement that there are containers all over is misleading. Chair, the system being established here is to facilitate exam cheating. And Chair, my concern is that we behave as if this is the first time Kenya is going to do exams. Why must each CS, each regime come with their own method of doing exams? We had agreed to the system Magoa had created. Now they are changing every day, and essentially we are creating avenues through which, cheating will be pervaded in our exams. I request, Chair, that you direct that the CS comes here so that we can deal with these issues, not on these papers which are not giving us the right position. I thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kipchumba Toretich.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute on this very important statement. Madam Speaker, I support the statement by the CS for education. Madam Speaker, for the elaborate plan that they have put in so that we can be able to manage exams in this country. Madam Speaker, a nation that fails to plan then plans to fail. Madam Speaker, we must know that we must respect the sanctity of our certificates in this country. The moment we allow for cheating in this country, then it means that our certificates shall not have value, not only in Kenya, but the entire continent and the entire world. So, Madam Speaker, I call upon those who are managing exams, because no law can be able to stop them from opening avenues for cheating. Madam Speaker, if you look at WhatsApp and Instagram, there are a lot of papers that are going around claiming that those are the examination papers. So we have in this country the CAK, Communication Authority of Kenya. We have the DCI. What are they happening? What are they doing when papers are circulating in our social media channels? So, Madam Speaker, we want to call upon the DCI and all the investigative agencies to ensure that all the loopholes are being sealed so that we can have value for our certificates in this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, the last one on this will be the Honorable Fatuma Majo, member for Wajir. In the interest of time, honorable members.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to thank the Chair for Education for the update he has given us on the examination preparedness. Chair, my question today is not about examination preparedness. Where I come from, we have not had teachers for the past few months and years. When the Chair himself has been supporting withdrawal of teachers from our area, Northeastern, the entire area. Chair, you're coming to tell us about the preparedness of the school. I wonder what our children are going to sit for. Let me finish, Chair.
What do you want to inform, Honorable? Chair. I would have wanted to let her finish first because yes, you have the last opportunity. Not to defend, but just to,
Speaker,
to make comments.
Speaker, thank you for that. I just want to ask the Chair of Education, what is the essence of carrying examination papers with choppers when indeed those schools you have mentioned in Wajir North have no teachers? I just want to understand. Are we going to do exam or we are going to see the choppers? Thank you.
Chairman, I am assuming that the matter that was raised by the Honorable Mary Emase, I can see that you are on your feet. Your matter had been addressed or it has not been addressed?
Seek clarification so that the Chair can address together as informs the House. Honorable Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, kindly, I would like to give this the last opportunity to the Honorable Mary Emase.
Thank you.
Then we go to the Chair because we have other business in the order paper.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. I just want to seek clarification from the Chair Education. I said I represent 2 sub-counties. Teso South sub-county is nearer or closer to Busia town. But as I speak to you, exams have started. They have to pick exams from Amukura, which is the headquarters for Teso Central sub-county, which is a bit too far. So my request is, even if the container has not been transported to Busia for Teso South sub-county, can Teso South sub-county collect the exams from the container in Busia town, even if it is for Matayos sub-county? Because you know, integrity of the exam will be determined by the process. The validity of the exam will be determined by the process. So therefore, we must minimize any fraud, any attempts, any cheating. So let us, I am representing these people, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Member for Teso South. I think
They have to collect the exam from Busia Town. Thank you.
You've made your point very well. Honorable members, now I give an opportunity to the chairman, Honorable Meli.
Honorable Speaker, I just want to say that as rightly conversed by a member of Lego Usonga, I have no answers. I want to commend the members for what they have actually said, and it shall be transmitted to the CS. But there are certain issues that I want to put it on record, as said by, especially the issue of aligning containers. I think in my statement I read it quite well, that certain sub-counties shall be served outside their own sub-county. Just a case in point is that one of what Honorable Member for Teso South is alluding to. That's why I read that. Two, on the issue of teachers, I want to say that, and I want to be on record, Madam Speaker, the Education Committee, and I being a former teacher, have been very fair to the teachers of Northeastern, and more specifically that region, because in 2018, when we were chair of education, we introduced a continuous recruitment of teachers in that particular region of Garissa, Mandera, Wajir, and Lamu. And no other part of the country has been given preferential treatment like that particular region. So it's unfair for the Honorable Member for Wajir to allude that the chair of Education Committee and the Education Committee is unfair to that particular region. Two, on the issues that faced the 129 teachers, Northern region has about 6,000 teachers or over. But 129 teachers had certain incidental, sporadic cases of insecurity, which they needed to be listened to and be addressed. They should not be handled globally, like the whole region. Not the whole of Mandera is insecure, not the whole of Wajir is insecure, but certain areas where these teachers were crying that they had issues. And the committee, I want to thank them, they listened to them. But we did not make a resolution that those teachers, the whole teachers from North region need to move out. So, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to put that very clearly. On the issue of early exposure, I want to say this. It was in the wisdom of the committee, and I want to thank the members, that the exams be picked twice, because the second paper was the paper that was actually leaked. So that's why at the examination center, or what do you call the school, when the exams reach there, maybe through unethical people, immoral characters could open the paper early and expose it. That's why we say you pick the exam in the morning, do it by 10:30. The longest exam in KCSE is 2.5 hours. By around 10:30, it is over. Go back and pick the next one so that it is done in the afternoon without any early exposure. So that's why, as Honorable Tororija said, there is nothing sanctifying as an examination, as a certificate. But if we as a country are not going to make sure that our certificates are honored and have integrity, we shall not actually stand in the community of nations as people who have actually started. Lastly, Madam Speaker, on the issue of validation and movement, as said by a member of Wajir, I think the issue of marking, we say the examiners need to be paid well, and I agree with members. And that's why we made a proposal in this budget, and I want to ask the House, when the supplementary budget comes here, we vote 3.8 billion to NEC to pay for examiners, to pay for all those other things. And lastly, is on the issue of cheating, no, not cheating, what do you call validation and movement of learners. It is quite unfair to move a boy or a girl from his home to far place. I know it is happening because of lack of distances and all this, but I want members to know that it is not in the interest of the Examination Council and even this committee that students are moved for 2 or 3 days to finish exams and they come back home. So I want to say that I think that's something that we can address, and I thank you. Lastly, I want to tell the committee, the House, that the CS will be here tomorrow at 9 to address the issue of capitation in schools, among many others. So I want to ask that members be in the chamber tomorrow early enough so that actually you can be able to meet the CS to answer a number of things one-on-one. Thank you so much.
Next order.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, in this session, we will go through the committee of the whole House for 3 bills. I hope the movers of these bills are in the House. There's a Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022. Then there's a National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 59 of 2022. And then we will resume where we left yesterday from the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, Bill number 54 of 2022. So we'll start with the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022. And on this particular bill, we have amendments by the chairperson of the Labour Committee, and that'll be it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that Clause 2 be part of the bill. Chairperson of the Committee on Labour.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that Clause 2 be amended as it appears in the order paper. And Honorable Speaker, the justification is that this amendment seeks to ensure that each public office within the meaning of the Constitution shall be obligated to prepare a report on the status of the values and principles of public service. This is in keeping with the provisions of Article 232, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which provides that the values and principles shall apply to public service in all state organs in both levels of government and all state corporations.
I now propose the question that Clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the Labour Committee. The Honourable Dawood.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I support the amendment. I'm the mover of the bill, and I support the amendment by the chair of the committee.
Thank you. The Honorable Kaluma.
Yes, Chair. Somebody asked once whether a good thing could come from Bethlehem. Chair, for the first time, I'm seeing a very good proposal to be made into law by members of UDA Kenya and Kenya Kwanza. Something good has come from UDA administration. And Chair, this one I would like to support. My only request, Chair, is that in as much as we see compliance with these ideals by these institutions or these commissions, because they cannot just be reporting about what is happening out, not internally. This requires them to internally tell us what they are doing. Chair, let us also try to make it easy for the commissions to ensure that in their outward discharge of functions, they also comply. See what is happening with Teacher Service Commission, Chair, for instance. Where we've interfered with the independence of the commission, politicians are now distributing forms, not caring about these ideals. I therefore support this amendment, but I request, Chair, that it be implemented across and we give these commissions the free room to be independent and to exercise these ideals. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Butere.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I stand to support the amendment, although I want to caution my colleague Kaluma not to say that politicians are distributing forms for TSC. I haven't distributed any form. I think he needs to withdraw that statement. Oh, he didn't say Kenya Kwanza, he said politicians.
Are you referring to Honorable Kaluma or Kaluma?
Honorable Kaluma.
Yes, that's how you call him.
Yeah. So he needs to withdraw the statement of politicians distributing forms, because that's not in order. But I stand to support the amendment, Chair.
Thank you. He didn't talk about talk about forms of any nature. I just had forms. I don't know whether they are forms.
No. He said.
Are they birth certificate forms?
He said what is happening in TSC where politicians are distributing TSC forms.
What kind of forms? Birth certificates.
That's what I wanted him to specify or withdraw.
Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed by the chairperson of the Labour Committee. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 2 as amended be part of the bill. Will as one of that opinion say aye? Will as one of that opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
New clause 1A.
Members, I propose the question that the new clause 1A be part of the bill. Chairperson.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the new clause, as it appears in the order paper, be part of the bill. Honorable Chair, this amendment seeks to introduce the definition of the term authorized officer, which is contained in the bill and is also used in other sections of the Act, but was previously not defined in the Public Service Values and Principles Act of 2015. The amendment also seeks to ensure that a public office is defined as contained in the Constitution, and further to ensure that every public office shall be mandated to prepare a report on the status of the promotion of values and principles of public service. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I propose the question that the new clause 1A be part of the bill. Honorable Dawood.
Honorable Chair, I support the amendment by the Chair of the committee, and I request others to support as well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I put the question that the new clause 1A be amended as proposed by the Honorable Chair of the Labour Committee. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. I now put the question that new clause 1A be part of the bill. I now put the question that the new clause 1A be part of the bill. Will another opinion say aye? Will another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose a question on the title of the bill. The Honorable Dawood, you want to speak on this? I now put the question that the title of the bill. Will have another opinion say aye? Will have another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will have another opinion say aye? Will have another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. You can move from wherever you are. Do you have the notes for moving? Mover?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022, up to and its approval thereof with amendments, and seek leave to sit again. Thank you.
Where did you find seek leave to sit again? Just move for it. Stop at with amendments.
Okay. Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022, up to clause 2, and its approval thereof with amendments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 46 of 2022, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Members, we'll move now to the bill on the National Construction Authority. It's Amendment Bill number 59 of 2022.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Chairperson of the Housing Urban. The Honorable Gikaria, what's out of order? Go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This amendment on the National Construction Authority was my amendment, but I'm told it has to be moved by the chair of the committee who is not in today. Maybe, Chair, I need some guidance on how we progress from here. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Response, what is the problem? The chair wanted to move deletion of all this, meaning killing the bill. But now he's not there. So what do you do? No, it's for you to guide, not anybody. I think what happens when I think we the bill has to carry the day because he's not there.
Thank you so much. Honorable Gikaria, you can take your seat. Honorable members, as you know our rules, the chair of the committee had proposed amendments, 2 of them, but is not in the House to move these amendments. The upshot of the same is that the bill is carried, and so, Honorable Gikaria, there will be nothing to be done by you this afternoon. We'll just... That we have to, that's a process.
So you go.
So the mover will move for reporting.
To be part of the bill without amendments now. This process without amendments. I call close to. You move.
Just resume your seat.
Clause 2.
All members, I propose a question that clause 2 of the National Constitutional Authority Amendment Bill number 59 of 2022 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 2 be. Honorable Kaluma.
Chair, I very rarely would oppose anything coming from Honorable Gikaria. But Chair, you know the state of the economy. Chair, have we factored the budgetary implication in excluding women, youth, and persons with disabilities, whether rich or otherwise, from paying the fees required? I think this one would be a lot of money being lost to the government. So some women, Honorable Chair, are very rich. Look at a woman like, sorry to give the example, Honorable Keitany, Honorable Beatrice of Kericho. Why do we say that they will be applying for registration without paying due fees? Why don't we categorize women so that we deal with women who have no money, the youth who have no money? Look at a youth like Honorable Babu Oweno, who is a permanent youth. Why should he not pay fees to register a construction firm? Chair, that is my concern. Otherwise, I will not oppose anything coming from Dr. Gikaria.
You've just opposed, but it's all right. And I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will have another opinion say aye? Will have another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that title of the bill. I put the question that the title of the bill. Will have another opinion say aye? Will have another opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Bongeno. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will have another opinion say aye? Will have another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover for reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House the consideration of the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly number 59 of 2022, and its approval thereof without amendments.
Thank you. I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the National Construction Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 59 of 2022, and its approval thereof without amendments. Will as another opinion say aye? Will as another opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So members, we now move to the next bill, that is the National Construction Authority Bill. Dahi Kandenda. We now move to the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54, 2022, and we'll start from where we left yesterday. Can I put my card in? The Honorable Tom Kajuang of Roraka, we not even having anything on the floor. What's out of order? Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I rise on my place to say what I've never said since I came to this House. But this is a very important bill. We are looking at our health matters. I want to discuss this bill when there is a sufficient quorum to proceed with it. I see the House is not well constituted to proceed with this matter.
Could the Sergeant at Arms confirm for me whether it's true that we don't quorate? Having confirmed that the Honorable Kajwang is right, I order that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes.
Wako kwa drugs, hebu ni confirm na wao. Umesema wako kwa drugs? Well, if you've been following up on the proceedings of the National Assembly, this morning sitting, you will realize that at around when the House was at the Committee of the Whole House stage considering the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill originating from the Senate, Bill number 54 of 2022, a bill by Honorable Member for Endebess, Honorable Dr. Robert Pukose, Ruaraka Member of Parliament, Honorable TJ Kajwang, rose to alert the chair that the House lacks the requisite quorum, the needed quorum to continue on this particular bill. The debate on this bill kicked off on the floor of the House on Tuesday afternoon. It is a bill that is at its second stage, and this morning sitting, the bill was part of the bills that had been scheduled to be considered at the Committee of the Whole. And members had considered a number of amendments towards this bill that have been forwarded by various members. And this sitting at the Committee of the Whole, the members were supposed or expected to pick the amendments from clause number 23, but the House does not have the requisite quorum to enable it to continue. This is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 34 Also touching on the quorum of a committee of the whole House. This is similar to a quorum at the commencement of House business. 50 members are required to be in the chambers for the House to continue with this particular sitting. Or remember, there are amendments that are being moved or proposed to these bills that are usually considered at the committee of the whole House stage, and the House requires a substantial number of members to be present in the chambers to ensure that the amendments that are being moved, if at all they will be adopted or not adopted, then the participation of members is substantial. So the quorum bell is underway. Remember, the House had achieved its quorum at the beginning of the House business. Various businesses have been considered. There were the petitions that were tabled. There was also the statement from the Ministry of Education presented by the chair of the Education Committee, Honorable Julius Meli, and the House had its required number. Then the House proceeded to consider a number of bills. These are 3 bills that have been lined up to be considered at the committee of the whole House. And the House had moved to the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill by the Honorable Member for Endebess, when the member for Waraka alerted the chair that the House does not have the required number to continue on these discussions and consider the amendments on this particular bill. So the bell will be on, of course, to allow the members who are within the precincts of Parliament but not inside the chambers to be able to make their way to the chambers to enable the House continue with the business that was on the floor of the House. Currently, the House is at the committee of the whole House stage. But a look at what this bill was entailing is that the member for Endebess indicates that the regulation of medicines, pharmaceuticals, practice, drugs, scheduled substances, therapeutic, cosmetics, medical devices and related substances has been in fragmented legislation. In keeping with international best practices and guidance from the World Health Organization, the aim of the proposed National Health Products Regulatory System is to safeguard the health of the public by ensuring the quality, safety and efficacy or effectiveness of medicines and related health products based on principles of sound science, evidence and transparency. This requires an institutional framework with a clear legal mandate and with the requisite expertise and independence in decision making. It is for these main reasons that the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill is proposed. So now you may understand where this bill, that is the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, is stemming from. The proposed authority will be established within national government, its functions being a critical and integral part of health policy as set out in the 4th schedule to the Constitution. So this particular bill establishes the Kenya Drugs Authority as a corporate body capable of suing and being sued, taking, purchasing, acquiring, holding or disposing of movable or immovable property, and doing or performing all such other things or acts for the proper discharge of its functions under the Act, which may be lawfully done by a body corporate. The bill also establishes the management of the authority. It stipulates who shall sit on the board of authority, it further states who shall qualify to be on the Board of Management. This is a bill that introduces the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill. And if you are just joining these proceedings, is that currently is a quorum bell underway. The quorum bell comes at a time when the House was considering a number of bills at the Committee of the Whole House stage. And if the House does not have the required number of members inside the chambers, this is at least 50 members to be inside the chambers to participate in or on the matters being discussed. Remember, this was a bill at the committee here. Mostly amendments are being proposed to the clauses, various clauses of the bills. There are amendments that are usually proposed at this particular stage. Members consider the amendments, and if they agree to amending clauses of the bill as per what the members have proposed in the amendments, then the amendments will be adopted. And therefore, the House requires a substantial number of members to enable the House to make the amendments or adopt the amendments or drop the amendments altogether. So the bell will be on for the House to see whether the members will walk into the chambers. And attain the required quorum to continue with the business at hand. Once the quorum is achieved, the sergeant, who are keenly checking on the numbers as members are walking in, will be able to alert the clerk, then the chair. Let's listen in. The chair is making
Madam Speaker.
The chairperson of the Committee of the Whole, please report.
Honorable Speaker, while in the Committee of the Whole House, the House considered to conclusion the Public Service Values and Principles Amendment Bill number 46/2022 and the National Corruption Authority Amendment Bill number 59/2022 to conclusion. Madam Speaker, we were in the process of considering the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, Bill number 54/2022, when the member for Ruaraka, the Honorable Kajuang, rose on his seat and notified the chairperson of lack of quorum. Madam Speaker, in line with Standing Order 35, ordered the bell to be rung for 10 minutes, at the conclusion of which, Madam Speaker, we've not achieved quorum. I therefore rise to report the fact that there's no quorum in the House. Thank you.
Honorable members, the time being 12:17 p.m., this House stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, the 25th October 2023 at 2:30 p.m.
beginning, through the history of creation, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and there was total darkness. The Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. God saw the light and found it was good. He divided the light from the darkness. He called the light day and the darkness night. God ordered the waters under the heavens to be gathered together into one place, which he called seas, and the dry land appeared. After the earth's creation, Mother Nature took over and continues to stamp its authority on the earth's surface. This is, for instance, how the Great Rift Valley was formed. This is the Great Rift Valley, part of the Kenyan section. It stretches from Lebanon in Asia and cuts across Asia and Africa, all the way to Mozambique in southeastern Africa. The Great Rift Valley is approximately 6,000 kilometers in length and ranges in altitude from 395 meters below the sea level at the Dead Sea to 1,830 meters above the sea level in southern Kenya. The valley floor consists of flat plains, a series of lakes, hills and mountains, all of which emanated from massive eruptions and volcanic activities. Among the notable mountains in the valley floor include Mount Longonot and Menengai Crater. This is Mount Longonot, found within the Great Rift Valley. It stands at about 750 meters above the Great Rift Valley floor and over 2,000 meters above the sea level. Mount Longonot was formed as a result of massive volcanic eruptions which created the Great Rift Valley itself. It displays a stunning and unique view that beckons from a far distance. It has also a summit cone capped by a 1.8 kilometer diameter crater rim, which is appealing and attractive to visitors. The mountain is excellent for hiking that creates a day's adventure. There are also excellent views of the surrounding landscapes on reaching the crater rim. Menengai Crater stands at an altitude of 2,278 meters above the sea level. Located at 10 kilometers north of Nakuru town in the Great Rift Valley, the mythical and mysterious Menengai Crater is a place where many strange things are believed to be happening, such as people disappearing without a trace as others lose directions for hours or days, only to be found by their relatives wandering around in a trance. Its name, Menengai, is a Kikuyu word which means a place of many gods. A legend claims that Menengai Crater is home to many demons and ghosts, and as such referred to as Kirimakiangoma by many locals, which means a mountain of devils.
I have lived around this mountain for many years. When we came here, there was a lot of fear surrounding this mountain. We even said there was gravitational force that was pulling people towards the thicket. This place was thicker than it is today. For this reason, people said there were devils and that one could not go in there without castor oil to appease the devils. We developed courage and slowly started to explore the mountain. I have personally visited this crater many times and I have been from one extreme end to the other. Therefore, the way people say that there are devils in this mountain, I can confirm it is not true, for I have been in this place many times. I have never heard any devil sound, and I have also never carried any castor oil to appease the scene. There is nothing like the devil in there. You can even see Maasai herders down there. The situation here is like a person being taken right at the center of Nairobi city for the first time and left there to find his way out. The person is likely to get lost just like in this mountain. Even though people get lost, it is not what people think about the devil's spirit, but it is confusion in there that makes people miss their way out, especially if they are not familiar with the terrains of this mountain. In order to master our way out of this mountain, we began by marking our path through cutting some bushes so that we can easily find our way out and avoid confusion. In there are valleys such that if you go in different sides, you may not hear each other. It is only a person who is not familiar with the terrains of this mountain that can get lost out of confusion.
Despite all these myths, Menengai Crater is one of the most attractive places in the country, with its spectacular scenery and a promise of activities such as hiking, trekking, biking, camping, and picnicking at strategic campsites. In the series of lakes in the Great Rift Valley, a majority of these lakes are salty water lakes, which means they do not have outlets. Unique for hot springs, Lake Bogoria in Baringo County is such a lake. Since time immemorial, Mother Nature has always provided hot springs at the boiling point, which eventually feeds the lake. The hot springs which visitors use to boil eggs
kama huwezi kuongea hiyo lugha ya Serbia, hebu toka hapa, enda. And everybody akatoka, wakabaki tu watu wawili, Kamau na mtu mmoja. Kamau hajui kuongea hiyo lugha, lakini akasema anyway, who do I have to lose? Kama mtu Antony hapa. Hasa Biruketu walipoachwa wawili, akafurahi sana, akasema yani hawa watu wote wamekuja 10,000, nyinyi wawili. Kwanza mko na ile experience bao mimi natafuta. Pili, hata ile lugha ya hii kazi mnaielewa. Sasa fanyeni hivi, ongeeni hiyo lugha ya Kisarabia mko wawili. Kamau akasema, "Gai, bahati yangu imeisha." Sasa lazima angesema kitu. So akaambia huyu mwingine kwa kikua akamwangalia akasema, "Kwa hana tia modo wa nyoba." Sasa anaanza kujiharia, sema sasa huyu mtu nitawasemaje? Ule jamaa akajibu akasema gotire na oru. So hiyo spirit yako Anthony ya kujaribu ilipeleka Kamau mbali, na Kamau mpaka sasa anafanya huko Eastern Europe kwa sababu ya kujiamini. Kwa hivyo vijana tujiamini, na Mungu atakubariki. Hata I like what Anthony has said, huyo mtu wa C ndio ataandika huyo mtu wa A, na sisemi mtu asipate, lakini hiyo bidii yako na hiyo zili yako, jamani, utakuwa unaandika mtu anasema kuja hapa, anakuja na kupigia saluti, sababu ya kujiamini. Mjiamini, fanya kazi kwa bidii, believe in the right things. I do my bit, government does its bit. We have nothing but total and divided support and commitment from the President of the Republic of Kenya and the Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces that we must do whatever it takes to ensure that our young people become the drivers, become the owners that will drive this country forward. Mungu awabariki, Mungu awalinde. I will be a regular during the future here tukifanya kazi pamoja. Asanteni sana.
Naomba sote tuanze kusoma tafadhali, wakati mgeni wetu wa heshima Mheshimiwa Waziri akisindikizwa na our PSs pamoja na the chairman of the council pamoja na DG kupanda mti wa kumbukumbu kwa ajili ya ziara yake. Niombe band tuweze kuchukua nafasi. Band tafadhali tuchukue nafasi. Basi baada ya Mheshimiwa Waziri kupanda mti pale, nitaomba all our principals, our CEOs pamoja na directors kuweza kuandamana pamoja na senior officers ambao wako katika ziara hii rasmi ya Mheshimiwa Waziri kuweza kumsindikiza Mheshimiwa Waziri anapozuru katika kituo cha TGTI kujionea kiwanda cha kushona ambacho kiko ndani ya National Youth Service. Kwa hivyo senior officers from the rank of inspectorate, tafadhali tutajiunga pale kusindikiza msafara ule wa Mheshimiwa Waziri kwa route march kidogo ya takriban muda wa dakika 7 hadi kituo cha TGTI pamoja na our members of staff. Pia niwaombe tutakuwa katika msafara ule.
Unique for hot springs, Lake Bogoria in Baringo County is such a lake. Since time immemorial, Mother Nature has always provided hot springs at the boiling point, which eventually feeds the lake. The hot springs, which visitors use to boil eggs, green maize and other foodstuffs, puts Lake Bogoria ahead of the pack as a spectacular visitor's destination. To add icing on the cake, the frequent flow of flamingos in the lake makes it a place of natural choice for many people. Through history, the Great Rift Valley of East Africa is believed to be the cradle of mankind. This means that the earliest human species lived within its boundaries. Since there are no explicit records associated with its formation, the Great Rift Valley is an example where geography is regarded as the mother of history, and how Mother Nature has over the years influenced its habitation history of flora and fauna. Faced with volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, fault lines, our ancestors may have endured unbelievable experience, as this revolution is only unique, especially in the Great Rift Valley of East Africa. Today, it is home to pastoralist communities and both lowland and highland farmers. Mother Nature has stricken the Great Rift Valley in various and mysterious ways. At Mai Mahiu area, a huge fault line stretching several kilometers damaged and cut off Mai Mahiu Narok Road, rendering the road impassable. The massive fault line, which in some sections runs 50 feet deep and 20 feet wide, caused fear among the residents who lost their homes as others got displaced. So severe and mysterious the fault line was that it swallowed some livestock and did not even spare trees. Experts are split down the middle as to the root cause of these fault lines. Some attribute the fault lines to the movements in the Earth's crust and volcanic activities within the Great Rift Valley. Others believe that Mother Nature is on a serious revenge mission following increasing degradation of ecosystems and the growing climatic change impact, which directly affect the natural resources.
We have lived in this area for over 30 years and we have never experienced something like this. We have even never seen any hole or depression of any kind. This fault line started from the main roadside and later reached our home. I was in the kitchen when my son noticed the crack which was widening fast. I came out and saw a crack that was growing bigger. My prayer is that the government should send experts to come on the ground and to assess and advise us whether it is safe to live in this place or not. In the event it is not safe to live here, the government should consider relocating us to safer ground. We are willing to comply with the government's directive regarding this place as we are now helpless. The house that was over here, which was near completion, is worth about 100,000 Kenya shillings. Over there were 3 houses. My main house, my bigger son's house, my younger son's house and a kitchen. The total damage amounts to over 300,000 Kenya shillings. This is so if you take into account iron sheets, timber, cemented floors and the general house properties. There is quite a lot of money gone to waste.
The faults that the ones we are talking about that are responsible for the formation of the Rift Valley are very deep-seated. Okay, so the cracks you see on the ground are just maybe a representation of down there, the mother faults. The cracks, mainly you will notice, they will happen during the rainy season. If you notice the case for Suswa or the Nakuru area, is because of the rainy season. You know, on the Rift Valley, because of all the volcanic activity that has been taking place, it's covered by volcanic ash. So what happens is this material, when it's not covered by vegetation, and then there's a lot of degradation like overgrazing, wrong farming practices and all, what will happen is the soils become very friable or loose. So when it rains, the water will always look for a weak point. Okay, so this loose material is already will be washed away, and it will expose what is down there. So when this material is washed away, that's why you find these fractures opening up. Yeah, the Mai Mahiu one there's a buried fault. It's far below. It's in our geological maps. Like when they were doing the roads, maybe the engineers didn't do, or they didn't have the right people to do it like the geologists. They usually should be a teamwork. When you're doing such a road, there are some geotechnical works that need to be done on different sections of the road. First, you have to do a background check, look at the geological maps. Were there faults? Then it will direct you on what you're supposed to do, preventive measures. If it's a bridge you're supposed to put, or whatever, to make the road firm.
The White House estate in the outskirts of Nakuru town was not spared by these cracks' menace. Located at the foot of Menengai crater, the White House estate residents experienced huge cracks, which are 5 feet wide in some sections and stretches about 40 meters in length. The residents live in fear of losing their properties and even their lives.
Naishi kwa estate inaitwa White House. Na tunaenda na maji.
I live in White House Estate and water is wreaking havoc on us. In fact, if you look behind me, you will see a collapsed wall. Water is flowing with a force into my house. In fact, if you come to my house, you will see I have placed some of my properties above the floor as water is flooding everywhere, including my bedroom. It reaches to a point when it rains and I'm away, I am worried. It also reaches to a point when I cannot report to work for fear of the rain's consequences. This is because in this house there are children, and when it rains, the water will find its way into the house which has electricity. This forces me to stop everything and stay in the house to face the water menace as an adult. The work involves drawing water out of the house. If it rains now, it will force me to remove some of the affected properties outside to dry, as water invades everywhere in the house.
Utoe vitu zingine nje ndio at least zikauke. Maji imeingia kila mahali kwa nyumba.
We monitor any movements of the earth, and also we do some analysis of gas samples. So from the gas samples it can tell us if we expect any earthquake or any happening that would affect, infrastructure or lives of people. So what I can assure Kenyans, at the moment we have not seen anything major that would be of interest or alarming.
Mother Nature is very unkind and unforgiving, especially when the right measures are not put in place. Once it is mishandled, it has a way of expressing its wrath by hitting back mercilessly. This is what befell Solai residents in the Solai Dam tragedy, when man interfered with the natural flow of water by constructing the dam upstream. This is the leftover of the infamous Solai Dam in Subukia sub-county of Nakuru County. The dam was built on higher ground and designed to supply water through natural forces. The cracks developed on the dam's banks, and due to pressure of the full-to-capacity dam, the water broke the bank and gushed out with a mighty force that left a trail of destruction along its path. This is how the water began its deadly journey. Christened the Killer Dam, Solai Dam killed over 40 people and displaced over 400 families.
In the coming days, if we haven't changed the way we are doing things, we haven't done the vegetation cover. But I know in Suswa and around Maimahiu, the community has been doing a lot of conservation. They are trying to plant the leleshwa. If you have noticed, the leleshwa tree, the traditional tree, it's very good at holding the soil together. And if you reduce overgrazing, it will help in conservation of the area. Yeah, because this loose material is because of overgrazing, and then there's no vegetation cover. But the community and some organizations are doing a lot in conserving the environment. So I'm expecting that maybe this time we won't have that issue again. Yeah.
What started as an act of God's creation and perpetuated by Mother Nature has brought both joy and misery almost in equal measure to the habitants of the Great Rift Valley. There is therefore urgent need to sustain our natural environment so that Mother Nature can accommodate flora and fauna in this world, just as God intended in the beginning.
Lying on the western side of Mount Kenya is a magnificent landscape at Aberdare Ranges, believed to be the second home of God Njue by the Kikuyu community. This spectacular topographical formation accorded its name Nyandarua, which means drying hides, as the community argued they resembled animal skins spread out to dry. Stretching from Murang'a to Nyandarua, the Aberdare is a large ecosystem, and due to its rich agricultural potential, the colonial settlers settled here and called the area White Highlands. The Aberdare hosts one of Kenya's enduring true forests, not only rich in plant and animal life, but also an important water catchment area. It is a source of water for the farmlands of almost the entire Nyandarua, parts of Nyeri, Laikipia, and Nairobi. It is renowned for its many rivers with torrential spectacular waterfalls plunging from the cloud-shrouded heights to spray-filled ravines. They include the magnificent Karuru Falls, comprising of 3 stairs, the impressive Gura Falls, the Chania Falls, and the enchanting Magura Falls, which cascades across the yawning mouth of the Queen's Cave. Aberdare Ranges also provides the sources of rivers that feed Thompson Falls. It was named Thompson after the first explorer Joseph Thompson, a Scottish geologist and naturalist who saw it in 1883.
And it's a very beautiful falls. It reminds me of our falls in the Sierra Nevada in California. So you have a very beautiful country. You have a lot of natural resources, and you also have responsibility to the rest of the world to maintain your wildlife.
This magnificent natural wonder provides livelihood for small-scale entrepreneurs and traditional dancers around its site.
Wasungu wanakujaga juu wa kuona hii Thompson Falls. Kunakuwa na faida nyingi kwa hii shimo iko hapa. Juu hii ndio inatuletea biashara. Kila wasungu wakiingia Nairobi ama Mombasa, booking zao zinakuwaga lazima waingie kwa Thompson Falls waone hii kitu.
The Thompson Falls Lodge, located 1 kilometer off the Nyahururu-Nyeri Highway, is an ideal overnight stop for travelers moving between Samburu and the Great Rift Valley. Local tourism, which in the past received minimum attention, is currently providing great impact to the tourism sector. Local tourists have seen the necessity to promote and appreciate their natural heritage. It is also the source of the rivers that feed the only natural lake in central Kenya, Lake Olbolosat. The lake is nested at the edge of Central Province and the Aberdares. Despite its unique location, the lake has received minimum exposure. However, cultivation along its shores, human settlement, and irrigation has greatly influenced extinction of this lake. A visit to the hippo sanctuary, locally known as Manguo area in the falls vicinity, is a 10-minute brisk walk. Families of giant hippos spend the day submerged in the swamp and come out to graze in the evening. Another wonderful resource in the Aberdare Ranges is the Aberdare National Park. The park is located in Central Highlands west of Mount Kenya, 180 kilometers from Nairobi. Currently, it covers an estimated area of 767 square kilometers and was gazetted in May 1950 by an Act of Parliament.
We're talking about the features like the Elephant Hills, the Olele Satima. Are you talking about scenic beauty of the moorlands? Are you talking about animals that are unique to Aberdare as some of the major attractions? We can find the elephant everywhere, but you don't find the giant forest hog. You don't find the bongo. You don't find the rhino horn, the chameleon, and a number of several other species that are unique, endangered or rare, and just found in the Aberdare.
During the 1950s, the dense forest and bamboo thickets witnessed action between the British forces and the Mau Mau freedom fighters and acted as their hideout. The Kimathi Post Office, which is an enormous mugumo tree with a hollow inside, acted as a communication center for the Mau Mau. This monument is more than 100 years old and stands tall up to date.
Hapa ndipo alikuwa analetewa mabarua, anakuja kuchukua zile zingine zinazo zile anataka kupea watu information zake, anaweka hapa. Wale wakileta zile zingine wanachukua hizo zingine, wanajua anataka namna gani.
The park also hosts the world-famous Treehouse Lodge, a historical monument for Queen Elizabeth II of England. The Treetops Hotel came under spotlight when the young Princess Elizabeth descended its steps as Queen Elizabeth II of England in 1952 after the death of her father, King George of England. Another lodge, the Ark, a unique day and night game viewing lodge modeled in the form of the biblical Noah's Ark. Unfortunately, in the past 1 decade, the forest has witnessed gradual uncontrolled logging, charcoal burning, firewood harvesting, human settlement and agricultural encroachment.
Kuma 1964, mutitu uyu wari mutitu utangiotonyire kuo ni gwitigira nyambu na gwitigira onaguo ni utumanite gutunumana piu. Thutha miaka yathiangiete miaka 20, miaka 30, ihinda-ini riu niguo mutitu urambirie guthuka, na guthuka kurambirie guthuka ni miti iria kwanangwo igakorwo gitemwo mbao na igatemwo thiriba. Ni tuonire he bata kugitira mai to ni tuonire rui o uria Njue irathi kehoaga irawa ni undu wa mutitu uria guthukangi undu ucio ona ithuĩ ona tũtarĩ no hotiri twakĩonaga takibu twakimũrageria gũtũgitĩra kũrĩa.
Due to these distractions, the government has put in place measures to control and conserve the Aberdare Ranges. This is in line with Vision 2030, where the government is set to increase current tree cover from less than 3% to 4% by 2012. It will provide a base for growth of the forestry sector that has been diminishing at a very high rate due to human encroachment and desertification. Therefore, the government, together with concerned institutions, has come up with strategies to educate and inform local residents on conservation. These measures are as follows: rehabilitation of degraded water catchment areas while promoting on-farm forestry, secure wildlife migratory routes, seek alternative fuel energy sources. These will go a long way in not only conserving Aberdares as a national heritage, but also continue to be a source of life for many generations.
Care about good looks and money, and they don't care about who you really are.
Officer, I think a thief just broke into my house. He probably left a few minutes ago. A sense of security. Maybe it's as simple as the big wall that you've decided to build for yourself. Be confident that you can make yourself secure.
Really?
And remember, it's not up to others.
Do you still remember what happened?
No, not a thing.
What? How could you forget?
No matter what happened that night, I don't remember it. You...
The 25th day of October 2023. Good afternoon and thank you so much for joining KBC Lunchtime News this Wednesday. This is what my colleagues and I have lined up at this hour. My name is Bentro Njue and Lensa Odingo will join me on the sign language interpretation. Of course, let's make this conversation interactive. We are live on all social media platforms. Straight to the news. We begin our live coverage from the great county of Meru, where Meru County Governor Kawira Mwangaza has been dealt a blow this morning after the Njue Court of Appeal declined to stop the Meru County Assembly from debating her impeachment motion. Consequently, members of the County Assembly have begun considering the motion seeking Mwangaza's ouster and have extended the duration of debate until the matter is concluded. County Assembly Majority Leader Evans Mawira read out all the charges leveled against the county boss, which include gross misconduct and misappropriation of county funds. That is a story that we are keeping tabs on, and as soon as we have the full report, we will be bringing to you a little bit later. Moving on, scrap metal dealers in Kikuyu, Sub-County, Kiambu County have been warned of dire legal consequences if found culpable of malpractices. This comes amid a rise in cases of vandalism and theft linked to a section of scrap metal collectors. Kikuyu Sub-County Commissioner Charles Laboso said the scrap metal dealers will not be allowed to operate without all authentication documents. The caution comes a year after the ban on scrap metal trade, which had been imposed by the then President Uhuru Kenyatta, was lifted.
Concerns that have been raised regarding theft of scrap metal in our sub-county. We have had some concerns, particularly about the loss of KPLC transformers. Scrap metal dealers who are licensed, valid license, from Scrap Metal Dealers Council of Kenya are the ones who are going to be operating only.
In other news, the spouse of Deputy President Pastor Dorcas Rigathi has taken her boy child empowerment campaign to Kenyans living in Belgium. Speaking during a dinner, Pastor Dorcas Rigathi stated the importance of empowering the boy child, especially in areas of digital innovation, green energy, transport, healthcare, and education. Pastor Dorcas is accompanying Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who is representing President William Ruto at the Gateway Summit by the European Union. She is also set to hold discussions with Ghent University on areas of collaboration in taking care of people with special needs, as well as learn best practices from the university.
Yeah, and I said because I am a mother will call the son a boy child from cradle to grave. So when you are called like that, don't feel offended. It's just the mother who has said it, and we love the boy children, and we are taking care of you. We are having your back, and back home we are saying it is time to protect the seed carrier and get them from depression, frustration, and mainstream them to the level that they can achieve their dreams and their vision.
Back home, Machakos County government has officially launched a new hospital facility in Kiumbi town that is set to serve thousands of residents. The Kiumbi Level 3B hospital is strategically located to save lives given its location along the busy Nairobi-Mombasa highway. Mombasa County Governor Wavinya Ndeti urged the community to safeguard the hospital from vandalism and theft of drugs. Construction of Kiumbi Hospital had stalled for 15 years, forcing residents to seek treatment at Machakos Level 5 Hospital and Athi River Level 4 hospitals, respectively.
Also, whatever training comes for capacity building, tutahakikisha tunawafanyia capacity building. Kwa hivyo fanyeni kazi na mfanye vizuri.
So hospitali, I'm trying to confirm hospitals are everywhere. Roads are being done equally. The fact that tumekuja Kenani si kumaanisha hapa ndio tutafanya maendeleo. Every ward in this county inapata maendeleo equally.
Let's now revisit our earlier story, our top story on the Meru County Governor Kawira Mwangaza, who has been dealt a blow this morning after the Nyeri Court of Appeal declined to stop the Meru County Assembly from debating her impeachment motion. Consequently, members of the County Assembly have begun considering the motion seeking Mwangaza's ouster and have extended the duration of debate until the matter is concluded. County Assembly Majority Leader Evans Mawira read out all charges leveled against the county boss, which include gross misconduct and misappropriation of county funds.
The governor has, despite a previous impeachment process and warnings from the Senate, persisted in discreditable acts that singly and collectively amount to 1. Gross violation of the Constitution, 2. Gross violation of various national and county laws, 3. Gross abuse of office, and 4. Gross misconduct. 6. The discreditable acts have exposed the office of the governor, the office of the deputy governor, and the assembly, and its leadership and people of Meru County to national shame, scandal, embarrassment.
And from Meru County, let's take a look at what is happening in other counties in the country.
Speaking during the issuance of bursaries, Migori County leaders stated that a majority of parents are unable to pay school fees for their children, and the bursaries they get is not enough to support their children's education.
And we'll bring a few legislations into the House to see how we can change this narrative so that every child can get free education.
In West Pokot County, leaders say that they have managed to restore peace and stop the recent banditry activities through dialogue and preaching of peace across the grassroots along the West Pokot-Uganda border.
Umoja wetu ndio utatusaidia tuende mbali, na hiyo ndio itafanya Kenya hii kwenda sawa.
Elsewhere, Kiambu County government has resolved that matatu operators plying Githurai-Ruiru bypass route will only be allowed to ferry and drop passengers from Githurai without picking at any of the stages in between the route.
But they have been instructed to ensure law and order prevails. Nobody is supposed to hurt one another. Nobody is supposed to take law into their hands. If something is not working, then it should be reported to the relevant authority.
In the meantime, 8,000 members of special groups in Kisii County have benefited from the National Government Affirmative Fund program initiated by Kisii Women Representative Doris Aburi in a bid to empower them for socio-economic growth.
Kuna vile tunachukulia kwamba mtu mlemavu yeye hakuna kitu anaweza, but let me tell you, wanaweza, ni vile hawajapatiwa boost.
North Imenti Member of Parliament Rahim Dawood has joined pupils and teachers from their primary school in Meru County to launch the North Imenti Environmental Conservation Program, adhering to the presidential directive of planting trees to increase forest cover.
Tumesema si kupanda peke yake, ni kupanda na kutunza miti, kupanda na kutunza. Na kwa hii Meru, kulingana na venye pia mheshimiwa amesema, ili tuweze kufikisha hiyo target yenye tumepewa na serikali, kwa Wameru wote wanahimizwa at least per person kila mtu apande miche 30.
Let's now cross over to the NYS headquarters right here in the capital, Nairobi, where our reporter Farah Yusuf Farah has been keeping tabs on the launch of the National Youth Re-Engineering Program. Guests have already arrived. Let's hear what they have been able, or he has been able to gather from the National Youth Service. Farah, if you can hear me. All right, we will be crossing over to Farah Yusuf Farah to get more on that in regards to NYS Re-Engineering, but let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
People care about our good looks and money, and they don't care about who you really are.
Officer, I think a thief just broke into my house. He probably left a few minutes ago. A sense of security. Maybe it's as simple as the big wall that you've decided to build for yourself. Be confident that you can make yourself secure. Really? And remember, it's not up to others.
Do you still remember what happened?
No, not a thing.
What? How could you forget?
No matter what happened that night, I don't remember it. He
has forgiven me and he wants things to work between us. That's because he loves me.
And you? Do you also love him?
If anything happens to my sister or me, that statement is going to be delivered to the proper authorities.
It's about time you understood that not everyone you deal with will do your bidding.
Olga.
Get out! You'll have enough time to comply with the reforms needed at the public clinic.
No.
There it is. This is impossible.
You want to see your son. That's what you have to do.
These are the moments we live for every Friday as we catch up with the world of football.
Manchester City go in front.
With your favorite stars in rivalries like no other that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Learn a few tricks that keep you ahead of the game and spice it all with unforgettable moments on Dunda Dunda. On Saturday, you're in for another treat as we rock your weekend with all sporting disciplines, bringing you insights on what's happening behind the scenes as we share players and athlete stories, preparations, and celebrate their achievements.
Charging to the line! Is it going to be a world record? Yes, it is! She smashed it!
Whatever angle you look at, we've got you covered. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Kama Allah amekupatia uwezo wowote ule uko nao, basi umeabikum min ni'mat fa min Allah. Chochote unacho katika neema ni kutoka kwa Allah. Ile neema Mwenyezi Mungu aliyokupatia ndugu yangu, itumie kutangaza tauhidi.
Katika Qur'ani, katika suratul Fajr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala anasema kuwa wakati mja anajaliwa neema ya kuwa na mali, basi mja yule huwa mwenye kujifakhirisha sana na kusema kuwa Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala amemneemesha.
Welcome back and thanks for keeping me company. We are now crossing over to the NYS headquarters where our reporter Yusuf Farah has been keeping tabs with what has been there. And not only is he there, but we also have the PES for Public Service, Moses Kuria. Let's first of all cross over to the National Youth Service HQ. Good afternoon, Farah.
Live from Bukura, Kakamega County.
Back at the broadcasting house, Njue coming to you live from the National Youth Service headquarters at Ruaraka, Nairobi County, where today Honorable Moses Kuria, that is the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Public Service and Delivery and Performance Management, made his maiden visit at this headquarters since coming in to office after the cabinet reshuffle. Of course, he did inspect the guard, and after the ceremony today, he made the announcement that as the new Chief Marketing Officer of the National Youth Service, he will make sure the welfare of the National Youth Service officers who are serving and those who have served will be in the core of his mandate. Of course, where we are right now is the Textile Center, where the uniforms are made. If you can be able to see from the background, this is where most uniforms of the officers in uniform in our country are made. And of course, the CS made the announcement that he had an engagement with Inspector of National Police, that is Japhet Koome, and he's talked about the next intake for the National Police Service, that is 3,000 police officers will be recruited exclusively from the National Youth Service. Of course, this is in a bid to make sure that the welfare and the employability of NYS officers increases gradually. Also, the Kenya Wildlife Service officers, the next intake, that is 1,500 officers, will also be exclusively from the National Youth Service. Of course, he says that going forward, he will ensure that employability of NYS officers goes up by the day. And of course, he says he will be tabling a motion before Parliament to ensure that the next hiring of government, someone needs to have had a background of service from the National Youth Service. He also did speak about performance service delivery by public servants, basically alluding to the fact that there are plans in the future to have a call center domiciled here at the headquarters that will be handling complaints of individuals who have had issues or interactions where they feel like service by public servants rather has not been up to par. So the National Youth Service officers will be here to handle those complaints. And of course, he says going forward, he will ensure that he will be in the front line to make sure that the National Youth Service officers are the face of employability and service delivery in the country. Of course, we're going to have a comprehensive story in our comprehensive bulletins, but for now, I take it back to you at the broadcasting house. Njue.
Thank you, Farah, Yusuf Farah, live from the HQ for the NYS, and some good news for the men and women there. 3,000 to be absorbed to the Kenya Police Service, and also about 1,500 to be absorbed in the Kenya Wildlife Service. Just a quip of what the re-engineering course there being spearheaded by the CS Moses Kuria. From NYS, we cross over to Kakamega County. Today is a World Food Day, and Tess Mutai has been keeping tabs in regards to the sustainable food system. Let's get more from Tess.
Well, hello there, Ben Troy Njue. We are coming to you live from Bukura, Kakamega County. The sun has really decided to shine today, but yes, World Food Celebration is ongoing. We are currently with Benjamin Andama, who is the CEC for Agriculture. There are so many innovations we've seen here. Farmers are being educated on different types of sustainable food systems to take it up so that at least food provision and production within the county can increase. So without further ado, let's just link up with Benjamin Andama, who will be telling us more about the county, and today being World Food Celebration Day, and the county being pegged as a county that produces sugarcane a lot. People have diversified into food farming. How is the uptake, and which kind of innovations are you putting in? How are you motivating farmers to take this up so that you can continue to produce more within the county?
Thank you so much. As a county, and as you've just put it, there are a lot of things that we are looking at today, or rather we are just rehearsing for tomorrow, which is the real day for us. We are going to have a big celebration for the World Food Day. I know it always happens on the 16th of October every year. And for us here, we've been given a special case to really look at it as at the national level, where we're also expecting leaders across that are going to be with us here to grace the occasion. We're expecting our Prime Secretary to be with us, and we're also expecting our leader from the National Assembly, that is Mheshimiwa Honorable Wetangula, tomorrow to be with us, and of course our governor. And as you all know that as we got into the leadership of the county of Kakamega, our governor spoke so much about food security and being among the 6 pillars. And food security
And apologies for that freeze of frame there, but Tess will be bringing us a more detailed report in a subsequent bulletin. But today is World Food Day. Let's first of all check the exam preparedness in the country. The Ministry of Education has assured education stakeholders that management of national examinations is watertight to curb malpractices. Members of the National Assembly on Tuesday raised concern over the management of exam by the Kenya National Examination Council (NEC). Legislators had poked holes into the plan to have exam papers for the same day picked twice, citing the distance between examination centers and the pickup points. However, in a statement to the National Assembly on Wednesday morning, read by Education Committee Chair Julius Meli, the Ministry of Education maintained that the strategy is meant to eliminate early exposure of examination papers.
Madam Speaker, this is actually the reason why the ministry actually went ahead and introduced the collection of examination committee. We found out that most exam cheating and malpractices takes place on the second paper, because this paper goes to the school early, it gets exposed early, and that is why that is the real issue. And I think the ministry is trying to treat that particular malpractice. Madam Speaker, the Examination Council actually went ahead and increased the number of containers from 482 to 506. Madam Speaker, you remember that before 2016, police stations used to be the centers of collecting exams. But it was realized that it was from those police centers that exams were leaked and a lot of malpractices took place.
Does in the collecting twice even increase chances of cheating? I do not understand. How is picking the exam twice reducing the chances of cheating of the exams? Because to me, I think that could actually be very manipulative when we have people picking the exams twice, it actually gives them an opportunity to collude.
We ensure that the human intervention in the process through which exams could be stolen is removed, Mr. Speaker. Number two is the last thing is spoken about, the disbursements of money. We all know now that the ministry is not disbursing 100% of the money. The ministry is disbursing 55, sometimes if it goes to the highest 70%. The schools are not getting 100% of the money.
Those are members of parliament. They're weighing in on the country's preparedness for the oncoming examination. And just a quick one, allow me to make an apology there. The World Food Day was celebrated on Monday, but the function or the celebrations are being done today in Kakamega County. Tess Mutai will be coming a little bit more with more details with that. Away from that, let's check out on the security matters in the country. A section of members of parliament from Baringo County is currently meeting security agencies in the region in Kapidasum area. The meeting follows a banditry attack last night. The leaders, including Parliamentary Security Chair Committee Gabriel Tongonyo, Baringo County Senator William Cheptumo, Baringo South MP Charles Kamuren, and Baringo Woman Representative Florence Jematia. Residents are urging the government to flush out bandits in the region. Kenya Defence Forces have also deployed in the area for the next 7 days to assist in bringing normalcy to the troubled area. Moving on, the government has recovered 3.5 acres of land worth 100 million shillings hived off Kibiku Forest in Ngong, Kajiado County, next to the Kenya Institute of Highway and Building Technology. This comes as Environment, Climate Change and Forestry Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya ordered people encroaching forest to leave or be forced out.
Through a tipple from members of the public, the government recovered the 3.5 acre of land worth 100 million shillings off Kibiku Forest in Ngong, Kajiado County, next to Kenya Institute and Building Technology that had been grabbed and put into private use by a private developer.
We are going to wait and see what has really happened, because it has taken almost 2 months for this construction to take place and nobody has ever stopped it.
We are going for those grabbers of forest land. Anybody who is inside the forest, anybody who intends to go into the forest, anybody who has a plan, you better just dismantle that plan.
The government has declared the destruction of forests a threat to national security, vowing to investigate and bring to book corrupt land and forestry officials, especially surveyors found culpable.
Forest is an on-go zone. Forests are supposed to be preserved for the prosperity of this country. And there is use for forests in this country. It's for the public good, not for the private use.
Speaking of the General Service Unit Kimboreke Company Squad grounds in Njue, Kiambu County, during the launch of a nationwide tree planting exercise targeting to plant 500 million seedlings at the onset of the short rains, Environment, Climate Change and Forest Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya warned that the government will no longer tolerate encroachment of forests.
We are doing operations across the country. Any person who has decided to establish a home in the forest, your time is up. Anyone who has decided or has established a hotel in the forest or any other form of occupation, your time is up.
Tuya's sentiments were echoed by other government officials present.
Please assist us so that we can be able to tame the illegalities, the bad things which are happening in our forest. The environment is destroyed, then you are likely to have an insecure state. So national security cannot be defined without us securing our environment.
This is in line with the President's agenda of planting 15 billion trees in the next 10 years. Serafina Robi for Lunchtime News.
Still on conservation matters, pastoralist communities in Laikipia North have started reaping from the sale of carbon credits generated from conservation projects in the region. One such conservancy is Naibonga, which generates carbon credits from grasslands in the region. Residents explain that in order to increase the carbon credits, they have been planting trees and conserving the pasture through sustainable grazing.
Walihesabiwa kama Naibonga, lakini saizi wamejidivide into 3, Naibonga Upper, Naibonga Lower, Naibonga Central, so wana divide ile 36 million yao, each conservancy inapata 12 million.
Hii pesa ambayo tunapatiwa, kuna watu hata kama tunalemeka ati atupatiwe pesa ya carbon, sisi tuna beneficiaries wa carbon project, tunapata pesa kupitia conservation ya nyasi, tuna conserve nyasi, tunatengeneza employment yetu.
Elsewhere, the call on parents to take full responsibility for their children during this long holiday has continued to dominate many school closing speeches in Kericho County. Education stakeholders, among them academicians, teachers and religious leaders, have called on parents to focus on mentoring their children, warning them against leaving them under the care of relatives. Grace Washira, a lecturer at the Kenyatta University, challenged parents to help in nurturing their children's talent, saying the competency-based curriculum is skill-based and not knowledge-based. She was speaking during a closing ceremony at Blessed Narok schools.
Attention to what they've been doing in school. Make them your very close friends. Otherwise, you'll be very busy outside there. And by the time you'll be coming back, there will be no children. Kwa hivyo wazazi tuchunge sana. Maisha inatupeleka mbio, lakini tupatie watoto wetu hayo mambo matatu. Wazazi, mambo ni matatu. Tuwapende watoto, tuwapee muda wetu, and pay attention to them.
If there is anything challenging or you feel as a parent there is so much, just ask God for that insight, wisdom and understanding, even to the young one. Even the things you see that are very difficult for them to do. And one day you'll just wake up like our director saying, you'll have the dream for your child and you'll know where to guide them through.
Our private rooms or restrooms are near the entrance, near the main entrance.
Very well, that's a clarion call for us to be very vigilant, especially during the long holidays, and exactly to know what our kids are doing. It's time to have a quick break. When we come back, we still have more news, including the latest from the world of sports. Champions League results are right here.
The inaugural African Football League, showcasing the best of African club football, kicks off on October 20th. Catch the matches live on KBC Channel 1 as Africa's best footballing talents compete in the inaugural league between 20th of October to 11th of November. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Can bring the rap into the state. Big, big, car big, 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 house big, big, big. We no worry, we no worry, we no worry about that. We sing for the girl.
Welcome back and many thanks for keeping it Channel 1. Let's proceed. The Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers is urging the government to consider offering paramilitary training to teachers working in volatile regions in the country. KUPPET says the state should also consider arming the teachers to enhance their security and that of the learners. The Teachers Union has also called for an end to what it terms as a witch hunt on tutors who have refused to work in volatile areas.
We wish to call out the government to come out and staff these junior secondary schools so that the subjects that are offered there are taught by the subject specialists. Otherwise, our Kenyan children will be getting wasted.
There is no learning totally. The learners are just there. What has changed is that they can now put a tie and a trouser in front of you. You can only identify them in school, but learning is not there. That's a whole generation.
Further afield, in a distressing development in the Gaza Strip, hospitals are being forced to halt critical services as the United Nations issue a dire warning that fuel supplies have run out. This crisis has cast a dark shadow over the already fragile healthcare system in the region, exacerbating the challenges faced by the people of Gaza. Take a look.
Gaza hospitals are facing a severe crisis as they are forced to halt critical services due to a complete depletion of fuel supplies. The United Nations has sounded a warning about the dire consequences of this fuel shortage on the healthcare in the region. The situation highlights the urgent need for international intervention and a lasting solution to the political and economic challenges that have plagued Gaza for years. As a result, the healthcare system in Gaza is on the brink, leaving the lives of countless patients in jeopardy and underscoring the broader challenges faced by conflict zones around the world. Immediate action is needed to address this crisis and prevent a healthcare catastrophe in Gaza. Susan Kaondo, Lunchtime News.
Let's do business. Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo has emphasized on the need for county service boards to automate systems as means of curbing corruption and enhancing efficiency in devolved units. Owalo says digitization will help eliminate repetitive and time-consuming tasks. Owalo made the remarks this morning in Mombasa when he addressed delegates at ICT Managers Conference as well as 47 county service boards at the National Consultative Forum.
Counties must identify their own source of revenue. You must identify your own source of revenue. You must have your own revenue systems which are driven by technology. Just the same way we have Kenya Revenue Authority at the national level. Why can't you have your own revenue agency at the county level? You need to identify your own sources of revenue. You need to come up with your own agency that is collecting the revenue and automate all the revenue processes at the counties. The corruption that we are complaining about within counties is because processes are not automated. Let us have all records digitized and let's have all services automated. Revenue leakages will be a thing of the past. And you will realize that immediately you digitalize your services, even your revenue levels will be enhanced. I was speaking to the governor of Vihiga County yesterday. And for your information, Vihiga County is a model as far as ICT is concerned among all the 47 counties. They have done a lot. If you go to the governor's office in Vihiga, at the press of a button, they are able to track and monitor.
Now, demand for cassava has exceeded production, making Kenya rely on imports from neighboring countries to meet demand. This is attributed to utilization of cassava beyond human consumption to use in making animal feeds and starch for industries. Crop Development Principal Secretary Paul Rono says government is setting up a model to promote each crop grown in Kenya.
For decades, maize flour has been the main staple for most households. The pressure on maize has prompted policymakers to start a push to diversify the means by encouraging Kenyans to embrace other meals of blending maize flour with other grains such as millet, sorghum and cassava.
We're working on one technology which is called semi-autotrophic hydroponics, in which we multiply cassava plantlets in like plastic boxes. So we produce more cassava off the same acreage of land that will really be able to boost supply for the industry.
At the 3-day National Cassava Conference and Expo, agronomists are deliberating on measures needed to push up cassava production amid demand for cassava outstripping production by 200%, prompting Kenya to rely on imports. Self-Help Africa head of programs Peter Luoch believes this will drive the food diversification efforts.
We are working to bridge that gap because that is our biggest struggle. How we want to fill in the gap of between 1 million to 3 million metric tons of cassava. We have great potential to produce enough for that demand here in the country.
Crop Development Principal Secretary is challenging the private sector to invest in the cultivation processing of cassava.
We need close to 3 million metric tons of cassavas every year. We are producing less than 1 million. Isn't that a market for all of us? Isn't that knowledge? Isn't that information? Isn't that a business opportunity?
Rono says the government has put up a model to promote each in efforts to ensure Kenya reduces the food import bill.
We'll build cooperatives in 1450 wards across the country, where farmers will have a full package, not only on the input, but also on the market, and also on finances, and also all other information required on a particular crop. If you need trials for maize, you get it from the ward cooperatives. If you need input or information, you get it from the ward cooperatives. If you need fertilizers, you get it from the very near ward cooperative.
Cassava is grown in coastal, eastern and western Kenya for food, income and livestock feed. Trevor Ngendo for Lunchtime News.
And still on food security, the government is seeking to put 30,000 acres in the Tana Delta irrigation project under hybrid rice production. So far, water delivery systems have been rehabilitated to support rice production on 500 acres through a public-private partnership. ASOLS and Regional Development Principal Secretary Kelo Harsama and his roads counterpart engineer Joseph Mbogwa were on an inspection tour on the project, said the Tana Delta irrigation project is strategic in enhancing food security in Kenya.
That we are importing virtually all kind of foods into this country. We are importing rice, we are importing maize, we are importing wheat, we are importing almost everything. And the president has told us that this issue of food imports should stop, because we have the capacity to produce all this food in this country. And this is what is happening here.
And we are excited to note that a lot needs to be done to ensure that what is becoming a result of this farm will not go to waste just because machineries cannot access the farm. All the produce can also not reach the market. And I'm aware that by improving the road network, even cost of doing business will also go down. So we are here to appreciate the entire road network, the main artery that is anchored into our State Department, and also even appreciate what Agri-Africa is doing in terms of the road network within the farm itself.
And in other news, climate change and conflicts are fueling the reduction in wildlife numbers in Kenya. Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary Dr. Alfred Mutua says only elephants are not affected by the decline due to conservation and anti-poaching efforts. Dr. Mutua says a mobile unit will soon be launched to educate the public on how to coexist with wild animals and to keep off their territories.
This human-wildlife conflict is becoming a major issue since the problem of climate change. I've looked at the numbers. The numbers have been rising in a very fast manner. The graph is pointing up since 2020. COVID, climate change. And we talk about 200 elephants dying. But then elephants have been killing a lot of people. Animals have been getting out of the national parks. Animals have been getting into households because of the climate change. But we have to start thinking about how we can be able to sort out this problem. We will be forming, under my leadership in this ministry, a mobile unit that will go across the communities, teaching people how to live with wildlife. We've been living with wildlife all our lives, everywhere in the world, in Kenya. But you look at statistics from the 60s to now, I know our population is growing, but still there's something that we need to do because of the new reality.
Elsewhere, the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum is seeking to deepen knowledge in clean cooking and universal access to clean cooking solutions through the ongoing 4th Clean Cooking Week being held in Nakuru City. In partnership with development partners, the government hopes the event will spark innovation in the sector and accelerate access to clean cooking by the year 2028.
Kenya embarked on an ambitious journey to transition households from biomass to liquefied petroleum gas for household cooking as one of the solutions in clean cooking. This shift aims to achieve 100% coverage of LPG household reliance by 2028.
We really need to work on our mindset such that we embrace clean cooking and again see clean cooking not as a privilege of the haves and the have-nots.
Japan is providing financial support to UNDP's project, namely green recovery, through accelerated and transformative clean cooking action in Kenya.
Clean Cooking Week is an annual initiative aimed at promoting clean cooking solutions, raising awareness, and facilitating constructive dialogues on advocating for clean cooking at both national and county levels.
The use of clean cooking solutions in the wake of climate change is one matter that demands our immediate and collective action, and this annual event underpins the efforts by various stakeholders on this issue.
The 2023 Clean Cooking Week will feature discussions with the national and county governments, knowledge sharing, and media engagement focusing on promoting transformative innovations in clean cooking solutions. Alan Oko, Lunchtime News.
Shifting gears to sports, South African side Mamelodi Sundowns will play Egyptian giants Al Ahly in the semi-finals of the Africa Football League after a second-leg goalless draw with Angolan side Petro de Luanda last night. Sundowns qualified on a 2-0 aggregate win scored in the first leg.
Mamelodi Sundowns' first leg 2-0 win over Petro de Luanda was enough to ensure semi-final qualification for the South African side, after their second leg match against the Angolan side ended in a barren draw at the Loftus Versfeld Stadium. Despite Madhobin Vala's second-minute red card, Sundowns were able to see the game through without conceding. They will now face Al Ahly in the semi-final. Meanwhile, the other quarter-final second leg matches will be played tomorrow. Tunisian side Esperance will host TP Mazembe, while Wydad Casablanca of Morocco will welcome Enyimba.
In local soccer, Shabana FC will be targeting their second win this Sunday when they visit Ulinzi Stars in round 8 of the FKF Premier League matches. According to the club's captain Peter Ongechi, the morale in the team is high and they will be going for a win which will propel them to mid-table.
Shabana FC, which is currently training in Kisii ahead of their weekend fixtures against Ulinzi Stars, is not only targeting to remain in the FKF Premier League, but also a top 8 finish. Head coach Sami Okoth has exuded confidence in the team's preparation for their Ulinzi assignment and believes his players are psyched up for the season.
Vile sponsorship imekuja on board, utapata haitakuwa ngumu kupata the players wale tunataka, but kwa saizi at least imeleta motivation kwa sababu unaona competition sasa iko nzuri. Kila player anataka atie bidii kusudi aweze kupata nafasi ya kucheza, na ni kitu nzuri, ni healthy kwa team, ni kitu nzuri sana kwa sababu anytime kuna reward mwisho wa shughuli tunafanya, then inaonyesha competition inakuja juu na unapata inaleta result nzuri kwa team.
Shabana, who enjoyed enormous support during their matches since they were promoted to the top flight league this year, shifted their home fixtures to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay as they await completion of the ongoing renovation at the Gusii Stadium.
Mind zao ziko fiti, morale iko juu. At least kila mtu ako psyched up na tunajua weekend tutapata maximum points.
Shabana lie 13th on the FKF Premier League table with 7 points from the opening 7 fixtures, having won 1 match, draw 4 and lost 2.
Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi says his administration will support all the talented sportsmen and women in the county as a way of creating employment for the youth in Kiambu. Wamatangi was speaking as he welcomed back the Kiambu junior karate team that had returned from an international competition in Germany, while also launching this year's Kiambu Governors Camp Sports Championship.
We went, participated out of 8 countries. We ended up getting position 1, 2, 3 and 4.
Kama kuna mahali ambapo unaweza kwenda kule, kama ni masomo, kama ni training, kama ni kwenda kurepresent Kiambu, kama ni kwa game yenye unaenda kukua refa, wewe kuja hapa tuambie, sisi tutakusupport. Ndio hii talanta ya vijana wetu iwe tunaiendeleza mbele. Wakati tunachukua hawa vijana tukiwapatia hiyo kazi, isiwe ati unapatia mtu kazi na kumlipa shilingi 500.
Timu zote ziko Kiambu County ni mingi sana, lakini tukianzisha kitu kama hii tunawaleta pamoja, tunahakikisha kila mchezaji atafaidika na hii Governors Cup.
Na tunajua katika hii michezo, Your Excellency, tutaleta vijana wetu karibu. Mimi kama mama wa vijana, because I'm a mother of boys, I know kuna kazi kubwa na ngumu tutafanya katika hao vijana wetu, na tutawaleta pamoja, na katika maisha yao tutayajenga, na vile vile tutaleta raha ndani ya mioyo yao.
And across borders, Jude Bellingham continued his brilliant start to the season with another goal to help Real Madrid claim a narrow 2-1 Champions League win at Braga, as Gabriel Jesus scored a goal and grabbed an assist to help Arsenal secure a 2-1 victory at Sevilla. We do apologize for that mix-up in those pictures there, but Arsenal, Manchester United and also Bayern Munich were big winners yesterday in the UEFA Champions League, which resumes today in the evening. So just right here for all the sights and sound. But let's retake that story once again. Jude Bellingham continued his brilliant start to the season with another goal to help Real Madrid claim a narrow 2-1 Champions League win at Braga, as Gabriel Jesus continued with his imperious form, scoring a goal and an assist to help Arsenal secure a 2-1 victory at Sevilla.
And he's in a bit of space, and he's found, and Bellingham plants it into the back of the net on the hour.
As Union Berlin 1-0 last night, El Sevilla, backed by a vocal home crowd, got back into the game when Nemanja Guldet headed in from a set piece. Hurricane scored and assisted to help Bayern Munich claim 3-1 victory at Galatasaray. Atletico Madrid travelled to Celtic, Newcastle host Borussia Dortmund, Young Boys play Manchester City, AC Milan visit PSG, Leipzig host Red Star Belgrade, while Porto travelled to Royal Antwerp.
Well, there you have it, of course, for all the sights, sounds, the goals, the disappointment in the field, right here on Channel 1. We will be coming back tomorrow with all the latest from today's footballing action. My name is Bentro Njue. Thank you so much for joining us. Lensa Odingo has been our sign language interpreter for this live newscast. But I now leave you with Military Tales, where today we highlight the lives and times of Colonel Michael Munyuoki. Do have yourself a blessed afternoon.
We traveled to Gilgil, Nakuru County to meet one military veteran, retired Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Michael Munyuoki, who welcomes us to his complex. The Colonel was born in Machakos County, where he went through his early education life.
I was born on the 24th December 1958 in Machakos, but specifically in Yata. And then I went to school, a local primary school called Chasion, and then I went for secondary school in a place called Baikin. So Baikin Secondary School is in Wamonyo, Machakos. Announcement of recruitment for the Kenya Defense Forces came. And then I chose to go and try. And then we were told to report to Lanet, at Lanet, FTC, Armed Forces Training College then. We went through the same screening medical, and then I qualified, and I went to training for 9 months. I commissioned on the 26th of March 1982. I was posted to 66 Artillery Battalion, Kenyatta Barracks in Gilgil.
The 1982 coup happened just months after he enlisted and was among officers who responded to secure Nakuru, where the then President Daniel Arap Moi was at the time.
I was still green as an officer. Little experience in a unit. I took action, I mobilized troops, gave briefings and deployed them. We had the roadblock here in Gilgil, along Gilgil Karianduzi Road. When the president reached the State House Nakuru, there was the fear tense, and it's like, how does the president reach Nairobi? So we organized such that he was brought here, and when he was here, actually near the junction here, we put him on a panad, the small armored cars.
He remembers one of his most challenging assignments in Kapedo in 1983 as one of the officers deployed to secure the volatile Rift Valley.
I was what we call a gun position officer, and therefore I had troops, I had to deploy guns, and then I had to cover. We recovered so many cows, and we also lost quite a number of soldiers from Nairobi. Cattle rustlers were very smart. When they realize you are bombing, they will go under the caves, and when you finish, they will come out and still continue their activities.
A military-trained doctor, Munyuoki would be sent out in 1999 for more training in Pakistan, where he trained as an instructor in gunnery and came back to Kenya to the School of Artillery in Embakasi.
Those are rare opportunities to get. I was deployed in School of Artillery, where I worked for more than 7 years. I left there to go to attend Defense Staff College. I was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel and posted as a commanding officer.
He also served in numerous United Nations peacekeeping missions in the region and beyond as a trainer. His most notable mission was in 2002 when he served in Ethiopia and Eritrea, where he was instrumental in the introduction of peer education in the military.
I was there for 1 year plus, and that's the time I streamlined peacekeeping standards more so on the training.
He notes some of the challenges he and colleagues faced while in the army, including in battlefields.
When you go and collect your dead, you cannot be the same again. And tomorrow you are taking a gun and going there to fight. You are going to cross with the enemy. The issue is you either get killed or you kill.
Dr. Munyoki is also an author and has published numerous books and journals on the management of HIV and AIDS among uniformed officers.
I lost quite a number of soldiers. A time came when I was burying a soldier every week. It was very effective for me. And I decided to break the silence surrounding HIV and AIDS. The book addresses that being HIV positive is not a deadly sentence.
He speaks about his passion for writing, observing that they have been a game changer in the management of the disease in the forces.
I put a program addressing HIV and AIDS, and I would invite speakers from UNAs, from Red Cross to come and address the aspect of surrounding HIV and AIDS. When I became the CEO, it was part of Master Parade Talk. Every time we would talk about HIV and AIDS. In 2001, I wrote the first peer education manual addressing HIV and AIDS.
He credits the military for a milestone he has achieved in his life.
I thank the military. It made me who I am. I grew up and gained my experience, leadership skills, management skills, administrative skills, tactics, orientation on how to deal with the various groups of people, different people, character of people.
Since retiring in March of 2023, Munyoki now oversees businesses he has invested both in Naivasha and Machakos counties.
Started in March this year. I found time to relax a bit. Like now I'm doing a bit of construction. I man my hotel, not manning per se, but I spend time to see what is happening, see what workers are doing, move up and down. And that's how I spent most of my time.
He speaks fondly about his pillar of strength, his family.
I have big kids. I have a Lieutenant Colonel like me now, serving the Kenyan Defense Force. I have a doctor who is serving somewhere in Muranga. And I have a daughter who is serving the company from America, Kotiba. So I live a humble, simple life, and I'm happy.
As a veteran, Munyoki still holds national values close to his heart, urging Kenyans to support the uniformed forces.
Kenyans, let's join hands, love each other, love our nation, because I would say the country comes first. Personal issues, ideas come second.
And with books such as this, his legacy will echo for centuries and will help millions of the Kenya Defense Forces. For military tales from Gilgil in Nakuru County, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
From Broadcasting House, Nairobi, Kenya. KBC English Service.
Welcome to Beat Time Show, the very best of the 8